Today I'm reviewing the Illamasqua Skin Based Foundation in my Best Foundation for Oily Skin series. By the way, if you're finding my foundation reviews helpful, please hit that like button and also consider subscribing so you don't miss out on my future content. Hey guys, this is Sneha here at Beautylashes19 and today I'm reviewing this Illamasqua Skin Based Foundation. Now I have the shades 8.5 and number 12 and both of these have yellow olive undertones, and I like that about Illamasqua's website. For each shade they write the mixture of undertone and the shade in the description. So as you scroll through each shade you can see that some have pink with yellow, some have brown with yellow, etc. Now in this particular video I'll be using the shade 12. So let's get started. As with all my foundation reviews, I've already gone ahead and moisturized my face with this Ombre Slay Cream Concentrate, and I'm ready for my primer. And with all my foundation reviews, I'm using this primer spray by Skindinavia, which has oil controlling properties. And as always, I'll do one half with my Sephora brush and the other half with my damp beauty blender sponge. And the foundation is quite thick. As you can see, it's not at all runny. So I'm just going to dot it all over this half of my face. So going in with the Sephora Pro Mini Flawless Airbrush. And I did see on their website that they asked to buff it into the skin in circular motion, so that's why I'm doing this. Feels very thick and does not move easily enough, I guess. There is some resistance when I'm applying or trying to move it and buff it into the skin. As with all my foundation reviews, I'm just going to dab it on my acne scarring and see if it is buildable and if it can cover those. Oh yes, it builds up beautifully. So far as you can see, the foundation built up beautifully. I just wish it was slightly more deeper in tone. I think looks ashy at this point just because I don't have foundation on this half of my face, but I think once I have the rest of my makeup on it should be okay. So I'm going to do this half of my face with my damp beauty blender sponge. Taking off the excess water in the beauty blender sponge. This particular shade is not yellow enough for me. It has still pinky undertones. So I would definitely need to mix it with a color corrector, a yellow based one, if I were to use this shade. Because in person I can see that the shade is off. I am going over these areas with a second layer. So I think it built up quite nicely on both sides. And of course this area looks gray on me because I didn't do any color correcting because I wanted to do a true foundation review. Now between the application methods, I do think I prefer the brush side. Something about it just looks more natural, surprisingly, even though usually the beauty blender sponge is the one which is more subtle and light. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I've just finished the rest of my makeup except for blush and leaving the eye alone because I think I'm going to film another makeup look after this. So yeah, I'm ready to set my face, and as always I'm going to use the Skindinavia makeup setting spray, and this is the oil-free version. So this is what the foundation looks up close. think it has a good medium coverage to begin with, and once I have the concealer and everything, I think it looks like a good full coverage, but still looks like skin, if that makes sense. And I think the finish is quite natural. It's neither too matte nor too dewy, I guess, once you set it with powder, but before setting it with powder it was definitely on the dewy side. So let's take a picture because I always tend to forget to do that. So this foundation retails for £33 in the UK for 1 fluid ounce or 30 ml, which is standard for any foundation bottle. This foundation comes in 26 shades, and as I mentioned before, each of the shade on their website has a description, so you can see what kind of undertones the foundation has, which I think is great in picking up your shade. But if you're around NC40, I would suggest getting the SP12. Now packaging is this thick plastic container, which is quite tough to squeeze out sometimes. But as you can see, the formula is quite thick, so you don't get it leaking. So that's why the cap stays quite clean, which I like. And you just have this screw-on cap. Because this is plastic, it's very travel friendly, and I think you should also be able to see how much foundation you've used, but I'm not 100% sure of that. And because it's a squeeze out tube, you can control how much product comes out, so as you can see there. So I've just swatched the two shades. This lighter one is 8.5 and this guy is number 12, so you can see much more darker. I can probably use the 8.5 for highlighting my face. So I'm going to read the claims of this foundation, or the description of this foundation, I guess. So it says it creates a flawless complexion every day, and you can build on layers depending on the desired coverage, which I think you saw in the application. It built up beautifully on the skin. It's a lightweight, easily blendable foundation suitable for most skin types. I do think it was quite moisturizing, so I think it's going to suit the drier skin types too. But as far as oily skin is concerned, we're going to see how this fares on an oily skin today. It smooths, softens, and conditions thanks to skin boosting vitamin C and E. Okay, that's great. So it has some skincare benefits to it. This foundation is tested in HD environment and it provides the ultimate skin realism effect. I think this foundation just looks beautiful on camera. I think so far of all the foundations I've tested, I think this one looks by far the best on camera. You can see it just looks very natural and in sync with my neck. I just love how it's looking on camera right now anyway. So yeah, I agree with all of those claims except for suiting all skin types. You're gonna see that at the end if it actually fares on an oily skin type. So it's around 11:30 a.m. here. I'm going to come back and check in a few hours. Alright guys, so it's about 2:50, so it's about a little over 3 hours, 3.5 hour mark since applying this foundation, and of course I have the rest of my makeup on. So I have this bright bold eye makeup and a relatively bright lip. But yeah, I just wanted to check in and show you how the foundation is holding up. My T-zone is getting a little shiny. But as I move my face, I think my cheeks look okay at this point. On closer inspection, one thing I am noticing is that it's settling into my smile lines. So we'll monitor that and see how that gets worse or stays the same throughout the day. But otherwise it's not clinging to any dry patches, but it's not staying matte, clearly. I think I'm just going to let the oils be as they are and see how much more oil is produced in the next couple of hours when I do my next check-in. Alright guys, so this is the little over 6 hour mark and I am definitely oily. If I come closer, you can see that my T-zone is shiny and it's slightly more spread now compared to I guess we did the 3 hour check-in. My cheeks on this half kind of look okay, they look still normal, but I have to go out now to walk my dog, so I'm definitely going to blot. So I'm using the NYX blotting sheets. This is the green tea one. So this is what the blotting sheet looks like. Quite a bit of oil, but it's come back to a matte finish and everything looks good. Still in place. It has collected around the nostril on both sides. I still do see some of the foundation in my smile lines, but nothing too obvious. Other than that, I think the foundation looks good at this point. So I'll check back at the end of the day now. Alright guys, so this is almost 9 hours, 8 hours 45 minutes since I first applied it. And my last check-in was around the 6-hour mark, so I think it's been about 2.5–3 hours since my last check-in. And my T-zone is again getting a little bit shiny. I did go out for a 30-minute walk, but nothing crazy. So I personally don't recommend this foundation for all skin types. I think this foundation would do best on dry to normal skin types. Maybe combination, but I think you should be prepared to blot your skin quite often. But as far as oily skin is concerned, sorry to say, but this foundation is not suited for us. Now don't get me wrong, I do agree with all the other claims of this foundation, but I just don't think it's for oily skin type. Combination skin type may be able to wear it as long as they have a proper mattifying primer underneath their oily areas. But as far as oily skin, I don't think this is going to survive even with a mattifying primer. I see myself having to blot my face every couple of hours, and that's not something I want to do. I want foundations that at least give me 4 to 5 hours before I need to blot the first time. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend this foundation for oily skin. But as you see, the foundation looks quite natural and has quite a nice finish. So if you have any other skin types other than oily or combination, I think this foundation will sit well with your skin. So if you found this foundation review helpful, please give it that thumbs up, and I'll talk to you all in my next video. Bye!
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me.